Thanks for tuning in to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. Here you'll find tips, insight, and information to help your music and your ministry succeed. Whether you're a singer, a musician, or a songwriter, we want to help you where you are, but we also want to help you get to where you want to go. We believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with those are our gift back to God. Yesterday's information is important, but what we can learn today will make this the best day yet. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the CNS podcast, The Best Day Yet. Super excited about today. Longtime friend and just crazy gifted musician and hands down one of the funniest, most hilarious, most just crazy looking sounding person I've ever met in my life. Hey, we have Roy Webb with us today as our guest. Roy, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for asking. This is going to be fun.
It will. I mentioned to Jen yesterday that I was doing this with you today, and she's like, do I have to wait until it releases to hear it? You know, I'm like, no, I think I can let you get a preview. No, man, I just, I just said it. We kind of go way back.
We do.
Both grew up in Southern Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, the struggle's real, Roy. I miss it so bad. Bad. It may go down in my history as moving south to be, the crazy thing. I moved south and I was more of a Southerner when I lived in the North.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had land, I had a garden, and then I moved down to the south to a little pie-shaped cul-de-sac lot,
Yeah.
So anywho,
and what's crazy is I live about literally, I should Google map it sometime. I probably live, let's see, that's Milliken right there.
Yeah.
I probably live maybe 2 miles from your parents' old house.
Wow.
Maybe. Yeah, right there.
That's crazy.
That's all the time.
So during the Counterpoint years there at Deer Run, where were you living then?
We lived in Deer Park. We lived south. So we lived only about 15 minutes from downtown Cincinnati.
Gotcha.
At that time. Yeah. So, man, those were some really good times. We had so many. I wish I would have had copies of all those records we played, but there's so many. I mean, I remember one time the Tony Brothers came. Do you remember when we played on all those records?
Oh, yeah.
And the Tony Brothers came. I remember they wanted to do 30 songs. They wanted to do like a 3 for $10 special or whatever.
Right.
Like 3 albums.
Right.
For $20 or something. I just remember you were just passing out charts like left and right. And we ran the chart, practiced it one time. Then we're like, all right, let's cut it. And just boom. I mean, and recording to ADATs.
Oh, yeah.
Just all that stuff, man. Those were such good times. Such good memories.
Recording to ADATs, which means about every 6 songs, you got to stop and clean the heads.
Every time. Yeah. And we'd hear.
Yeah. And I couldn't, I literally, well, probably not, but you just could not keep them in sync. You would have, 3 or 4 machines synced up and inevitably one of them would go down.
Yes.
You'd clean it. And then, so that was crazy. Okay. So, let's back up. How did all this start for you?
Southern gospel?
Well, music in general.
My grandpa was a pastor of a church. My grandparents, I grew up in Huber Heights, just north of Dayton.
Okay.
And my grandpa was a pastor of a church, North Dayton First Church of God. And then, so we always had music. We always had groups in. My sister and brother-in-law sang. I played for them. I started playing when I was like 15 and a half, almost 16. And so before that, back up, when I was probably about 10 or 11, I took piano lessons. And my piano teacher is still around. She lives down in Florida, Leanne Murphy. So she'll probably watch this. But wow. I took lessons from her for, I don't know, a couple months. But she knew that I wasn't really reading the music. I was just playing whatever I heard my sister play, because my sister took lessons too. And so my grandma would drop me off and wait out in the car, and I would go and do my lesson. And then Miss Murphy basically told my grandma, she's like, listen, I don't want him to be stuck to the music that's on the paper,
right,
on the sheet. I just want him to play what he plays. So I stopped taking lessons.
Huh.
And I just played sports for a while, and then picked it back up again when I was like 15 and a half, 16, started playing for my sister and brother-in-law at church. And then, but I'd always followed like the Kingsmen and Gold City and the cathedrals and all those groups that would come to Memorial Hall
Right.
up in Dayton. And so, and my grandpa would have groups in. And then there was one group in that he would have that was just a family group, a local group. They were from Middletown, and they were called the Prophets.
I remember them.
Yeah. And so Jim Prophet, who was the son, when they would come, I would walk up to him and just ask him, I'd say, hey, how did you play that? And he would show me exactly what he played. And so I would go and I'd work on it. And then the next time they came a few months later, I'd ask him something else. And he would be like, oh, it's just this. And he would show me. And so I was just obsessed with it. And then I played for a group called Lighthouse for a while. And then I played there for about 7 or 8 years. And one time we did a concert with Ernie Haas when he was a soloist. He was actually doing solo stuff, and he was singing with the Old Friends with George and Jay Cass and Wesley Pritchard. And so he came up on our bus and we were talking, and he liked us, and he told Doug and I, and he said, man, if I ever start a quartet, I'm going to call you guys. Well, a few years later, he did. He called Doug, and then they had been a group for about 8 months. And then I went and saw them one time in Cold Spring, Kentucky. And they told me that Gary was probably going to leave, Gary Jones. And I went out and rode with them Labor Day weekend, and ended up playing for them that weekend, and then got the job, and the rest is history.
Wow.
That's how it happened. Yeah, it was pretty funny because Ernie, I'll never forget, I didn't even know I was going to play for him. I was just on the bus for a ride along weekend. And, for whatever reason, Gary was like, I'm not going out. And so Ernie said, hey, man, you need to learn these songs to play. And it was, Rob, it wasn't like little dates. It was like Kempton.
Wow.
Remember Kempton?
Oh, yeah.
So it was like Kempton, where you have to sing twice that day. And then it was Gatlinburg Gathering. So it was like huge. It wasn't little stuff. And I'm like, so I've got these CDs, and I'm like, okay, well, which songs, Ernie? Which ones do I need to learn? And he's like, probably just all of them. I'm like, oh, okay, let me get all 30 down.
No
here
pressure.
In the next 6 hours. Yeah. So he had a keyboard and a speaker on the bus. So I stayed up all night just charting stuff, and then he would call songs. And so it worked out. And the rest is history, man. That's kind of how it worked.
That's super cool. So I remember the Prophets. We produced several projects for them.
Yeah.
And then so with Lighthouse, so help me. I was thinking about this the other day. Did all three of you go at the same time, or you and
No, that's a good question. David, who was the bass singer in Lighthouse, was Ernie's like driver and like tour guy, tour manager or whatever. Him and Doug left and went with Ernie.
Okay.
And then I came along about 9 months, eight or 9 months later. And so it was right before we did any Gaither stuff or anything like that.
So did you stay in Lighthouse after they left?
No, I actually left before that.
Okay.
I left and I was on part-time staff at a church. I had a corporate job, and I was on part-time staff at Liberty Heights Church.
I remember that.
Westchester. And so I was in charge of like the band and the rhythm section.
Yeah, I think.
And Jason Breland hired me. Jason Breland from Truth.
Right.
He was our worship pastor at the time, and he hired me. And so I stayed there on staff there for I don't know, 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, until I got the call. And that was it.
So I remember you called me. It was a Christmas thing or an Easter thing or something, but I played bass with you at the church there.
Yeah.
Because growing up, truth be told, Truth was they were my dream.
Yeah.
Until I found out they paid $75 a week.
If you're lucky.
Right. If you empty the garbage every time the bus stops,
and your grandma sends you 50.
There you go. There you go. And so I remember I was kind of, I don't know that I've ever truly been starstruck because I've grown up around all this, but that was pretty cool for me to keep looking over there going, that's Breland.
Pretty wild, isn't it?
That's Breland.
Yeah, we that was, and we had a great music program. Huge choir. Well, I think it was huge. It's like probably 130 people. That's a big
That's a
choir.
big choir.
So
That's bigger than most churches we've played at, Roy.
yeah, that's true. That's a big choir, and it's a big. We had horn section, and um, we were doing some fun stuff. Yeah, so that was good. And then, like I said, got the call from Ernie, and um, talked to my wife, talked to Jamie about it. And we were like, all right, let's jump if we're going to jump, because it was it's weird because it never, your opportunities never come wrapped up like you think they're going to come.
Hmm.
You always think your opportunities are going to be like, oh, it's going to be this,
Yeah.
then this is going to happen, then I'm going to get, no, that's not how it happened. And here's what's funny is I had tried out for groups before. I had literally tried out for groups,
Yeah.
and never got a call back. It's really funny because here's a funny story. Tim Duncan, the bass singer for Sig Sound, who's now singing like with the Oak Ridge Boys, and I mean, he's a monster singer. Before he made it, his wife Melissa literally went through the singing news and called all these groups and said, my husband is a great bass singer. If you ever need one. They're all like, oh, no thanks, we're good. It's just so funny because now anybody would, so now it's weird how that happens. But your opportunity never comes gift wrapped. You've always got to be ready for it, because it's a weird story. Jamie and I went to go see Signature Sound. Doug called me and said, come see us in Cold Spring, Kentucky. And we were like, or no, was it Cold Spring? I think it was. Anyway, it was at this amphitheater down there, Falmouth, Kentucky.
Okay.
It was in Falmouth. And I was like, it was like in August. And I was like, bro, I got to work. And well, there goes my dog, Oliver. So he's like, come on down and watch us. And I'm like, okay. So what should have taken 1 hour, it was a Friday, what should have taken a 1 hour drive for us turned into almost a 3 hour drive. Wow. Traffic on 75, a wreck here. It was raining sideways. It was like every obstacle that could happen happened. So many times I thought, you know what? Let's just turn around and go home.
And this was outside.
It was outside. Yeah. And I'm like, and my wife was like, well, might as well go. We're already this far. So we get there, talk to Ernie, go up on the bus and everything. And then Ernie's like, hey, why don't you come out with us in a couple weeks, Labor Day weekend? I'm like, okay. And then the rest is history.
Wow.
And so it's funny because that's not how I saw the opportunity happening, right?
Right.
You always think your opportunity is going to be, all right, go out with this. Everything will be perfect. And then we'll make you an offer and everything you'll accept. And then that's never how it happens. It's always, but the timing of it was perfect. Right. So that's for anybody who's looking for their perfect opportunity. There is no perfect opportunity. Yeah. There's just an opportunity.
And you straight up just have to be ready.
You got to be ready, man. So that's what's funny is when there was a joke with Ernie, and it's not a joke, but I would say, hey, what are we kicking off with? He'd go, I don't know, just be ready.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that.
And it's like, are we going to do Plan of Salvation, Glory, Glory, Clear the Road? Or are we going to, and he'd be like, just be ready.
Yeah.
And you got to be so ready that like none of it rattles you.
Right.
You just got, and that you got to be so ready that they can't. So now, you and I, we've been through this, like there's nothing they can throw at you that's going to rattle you.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, okay, power went out. That's fine.
Right.
I mean, this is acoustic piano. This happens, whatever. So yeah, you just got to be ready for your opportunity, man.
So you took me back. When I was 17, well, first off, let me insert this. Over the last couple of years, I was told that the only reason my opportunities ever happened was because of my last name. Right. Which obviously they've opened doors, but speaking of the last name, I got a call. I was 17 and I got a call from Priority in
Remember
Brant.
them? They were a good group.
They were a great group
Yeah, I remember them.
in Branson, Missouri. And the call was, I understand you're a pretty good piano player. And I'm 17. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Want to hear me?
Yeah,
I know
right,
all the songs.
right.
That's funny.
So I got off the phone. I talked with Dad, and he's like, um, it was going to be. I was a senior, and it was right at that point of I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to get on a bus.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, let's get you out there and do it. And so they sent me these songs, and Roy, I procrastinated and procrastinated. I didn't work. I didn't,
Uh,
I didn't prepare. We got out there and I totally fell flat on my face. I mean,
oh no.
flat on my face. So we left and probably, 100 miles of just pure silence. And then Dad reached over and tapped my knee. He said, "You want to hear how this will never happen again?" He said, "You'll work, you'll prepare, you'll be ready to go." He knew that was
That's
going to happen,
painful,
but
man.
he took us from Cincinnati to Branson, Missouri for me to learn that lesson.
It's
And
painful. It's
oh
painful. I mean, people, it's weird but it sticks with you because you never want to be caught off guard again. It's so painful
no,
that you're like, I'm never going to feel like that again. I'll practice, I'll do whatever. It's such a bad feeling
right.
that, yeah, man, no, that had to be a hard lesson to learn.
And I remembered the guy that I auditioned for, and I don't know. 4 years later, so I'm with Perfect Heart. We're in North Carolina, and the Anchormen are with us, and this particular guy is now with the Anchormen. So I avoided him because I just was embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I successfully did for the whole concert. And then I'm tearing down and I heard a Robbie and I turn around. It's Dale Forbes.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, man, it's so good to see you. I knew you'd end up with a great group. You were with a great group of guys. And he hugged me and he walked off. And I'm like, okay. So long story short, let's fast forward like 4 or 5 years ago, we're at NQC and he and his wife walk up to the CNS booth and we get to talking and he's like, man, Robbie, it's great what you're doing with the school and your dad had passed. He said, I know your dad would be proud. And I said, Dale, can I thank you for something? I mean, we're talking 30 some years later, and I broke and I told him the story and I'm crying. I'm like, what you
It's
did for
painful.
me, what you did for me. He stepped back and he said, Robbie, that was you. He said, I remember a horrible audition, but I don't remember that it was you. So,
And you just said, well, no, that wasn't me.
yeah, exactly.
It wasn't me. It was some other guy.
So, we hang on to these things and
We
sometimes
do.
we're holding
They
on
don't
to them for
matter.
no reason because they don't matter. You're,
They don't matter,
you're
man.
exactly right. So, okay. How long were you out with Ernie?
About 4 years.
Okay.
And it
Uh,
was a rocket ship ride.
oh, absolutely.
It was a rocket ship.
I remember watching from the angle I was looking at and just excited, happy, proud, just
It was a rocket ship. It was literally, and this isn't me boasting or anything. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that again
I don't
in
think
our
so.
lifetime.
I don't think so.
Not Southern Gospel. The way that it just happened, it was crazy. It was looking back. I wish I would have appreciated it more while it was happening, um, because I knew it was special. I just probably didn't realize how special, but it was pretty special, man. Like that was pretty incredible. I mean, because I'll never forget it. We had one Gaither date on the books. One. I'll never forget this. I still had the set list that Ernie wrote to give to me. I still have it. I still have a bunch of stuff like that. Um, we show up at Jubilate
Okay.
in North Carolina, and we were like, "Man, let's see how this goes." And it's the only Gaither date we had, and I'm starstruck because there's
Right.
Guy Penrod and there's all these people that you watch on TV every week, and I was a fan.
Yeah.
So we go and we don't know like what the order is. We don't know anything. And we get our suits on, we're doing our thing. We go sit in the pit, and on the bass bin is where they tape the order. And you see all these names, and I'm looking, and it said signature sound, intermission.
Mm.
And Ernie leaned over and he goes, wow, they gave us the old cathedral spot. The cathedrals used to sing before intermission every time. And we're like, okay. And so he goes, okay, here's what we're going to do. So we went back in the hallway, and he's like, we're going to do Glory, Glory, Clear the Road. We're going to do this. We're going to do Stand By Me. We're going to do Oh, What a Savior. And he's like, after Oh, What a Savior, Roy, he's like, I want you to kick off the reprise of Stand By Me. I don't care what happens. I don't care if they're booing us. He's like, kick off the reprise of Stand By Me. And I was like, well, we only get like 4 songs or whatever. And he's like, he said, well, we'll ask for forgiveness later. And I said, okay. And we did it, and it blew the roof off the place. And then next thing you know, we're doing Gaither dates. And then he did a video on us, and that was like the #1 music DVD in the world. And then, we had done the Dove Awards. We did the White House twice. We did National Day of Prayer. We did, like I said, the Dove Awards. We did everything you could want to do. The Religious Broadcasters Association of America event. Like we went in Dr. Dobson's office,
right.
Like we're talking to LA. It was crazy. We just opened up so many doors for us. And then we did, I'll never forget though, the funniest thing, because Ernie had been down this path. Like
right.
It was funny because we would work the table before the concert, and our backdrop, people would walk by and they'd be like, oh, that's Ernie. I don't know those other guys, but that's Ernie. And we'd just be like, yeah, we were just happy to be there.
Right.
So before our first video came out, he called me. He called every guy. And he said, hey, listen, Gaither's going to play our video Thanksgiving weekend on television. And he's like, it's the most watched weekend of the year. He goes, so I'm calling to let you know everything is about to change. Everybody's going to know who you are. And we were like, okay. He goes, no, I'm serious. Everybody's going to know who you are. And we were like, okay. And the next week, everybody knew who we were. So it went from, I don't know those guys, to you go to the record table and there's already people waiting. They're like, hey, Roy, hey, Doug. Like they knew, and it's never stopped. It's pretty wild how that happened.
I have a similar story, and really there's definitely a connection. I traveled around with the ex-cathedral tenor.
Yeah.
That people would walk by the table and there's Danny. Who are them other guys? The only difference is they still are, hey, that's Danny. Who are those other guys? So nothing changed for me.
That's so funny. Man, it was wild. We would do, like when we did the Dove Awards, it was crazy how big the reach was, because I never really noticed it. There was a guy backstage talking to us, and he looked familiar. He was talking to Doug and I. He's like, man, I've watched you guys. I like your stuff. And he's like, I sing with a group. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, this guy looks so familiar. Like, who is this dude? His name is, and come to find out, it's Brian Luttrell from, is it Backstreet Boys or what? He's with one of those groups. And then Donnie McClurkin stopped us, and he's like, man, he was like, I was in London doing a huge event. And he's like, before I went on, all I hear are people in the audience laughing, clapping. He's like, I couldn't figure it out. And he goes, I peeked out, and they're playing your Getaway Jordan DVD, and people are eating it up.
At a Donnie McClurkin concert.
Prior to him coming out. He was like, I said, I got to meet these dudes. It was pretty cool, man.
That's awesome.
It was a great time. It was a good time. So got to open a lot of doors. And, I'm just like you said earlier, the number one rule is just to be ready.
Right.
So like when you get a call from somebody, so I've played for Mark back in April. I'll probably do some more stuff with him. If you play for Gold City, I've played for Gold City. Anytime you get an opportunity, all you can do is the best you can do. That's all you can do.
Right.
Be ready. Go out there and just do what you do. Don't overplay. Don't oversing. Just do what got you there.
I think that's huge, because I think people have blown their opportunities because they've over tried when an opportunity came. They try to they they try for the home run when just a base hit, just
Yep.
get a guy on base and move him around.
And I'd rather take base hits all day long over home runs, because statistically you're gonna get more base hits than home runs, right? So just being ready, being prepared, knowing the stuff. If somebody says, "Hey, we want you," and we tried to talk about this at performance training. I practice what I'm going to say on stage most of the time, and I practice it in my car, or I'll practice it here. You just have to practice it. I know it sounds crazy, but you have to practice that stuff. Like if you're going to talk before a song, know what you're going to say.
Right.
So when you say it, it doesn't sound nervous, and you don't sound rushed, and it sounds natural, and it doesn't sound, because public speaking is pretty hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's hard. So know what you're going to say and polish it and make it really good. Make what you're going to say almost as good as the song itself. Like really work on that stuff.
Right.
There's very few people. I mean, Mark is one of them. Mark Lowry's one of them who can just get up there and just talk, and everything he says makes sense. Gaither, he's another one. Everything he says is like, okay,
right,
that makes sense. Gloria, she's on another level.
Right.
But they've all done it for a long time.
Yeah.
So you've got to work. And, we all have things that we have to work on.
Right.
We all have, I didn't like playing an F sharp.
Yeah.
But guess what key What a Savior's in?
Yeah.
F sharp. So you gotta practice. I mean, it's just one of those things. Focus on the things that you're good at, and then work on the stuff that you're not good at on the side. Don't just throw it away. Work on it, so you have a bigger arsenal of things that you're really, really good at.
Because if you don't, I say that in my teaching, we're gonna build on your strengths and develop your weaknesses. And if you don't, those weaknesses are always gonna be the weaknesses. Scott, you said something with the whole planning and preparing. Scott Godsey at the school 4 or 5 years ago said something that just grabbed me. He said, "Man, sometimes the most important part of your set is the space between the songs." And he's so right.
Sometimes you don't. Not every song needs an introduction.
No. JD. I loved everything he said, but he said, "Look, if you come to a Stamps concert, you're not going to hear us talk. You're not buying a ticket to hear me preach. You're buying a ticket to hear me sing."
Yeah, exactly.
And so transparent honesty here. A couple years ago, the new inspirations. I'll be honest. I just didn't get the hype. I didn't get it. So they were, and all I had seen would be a couple songs that I might sneak in QC and grab their last 1 or 2 songs or something. So this was shortly after NQC, probably around 22, 23. They were on a Sunday night. They were at a little church about 10 minutes from my house. So I went, and they did 11 songs without saying a word.
That's awesome.
Without saying a word.
I love that.
And so it clicked when I saw their whole set. I understood. Still not necessarily my favorite,
I get it.
But I left with a understanding and a respect for what they do.
It's funny because a year ago, actually, I think it was a year ago today, because I played for Daly and Vincent, and Darren Vincent knows I love Vince Gill. So I told him, hey, man, if you ever are working with Vince, let me know. So he called me and said, hey, I'm going to work with Vince at the Opry. Come down. So I went down and met Vince. And at that time, I told Vince, I said, we're just backstage talking in his dressing room. He's like talking to you. He's like super chill. And so I said, man, my wife and I just got tickets to come to Vegas to see you guys at the Sphere on opening night. And he's like, man, he goes, I'm not going to lie to you, buddy. We have no idea what to expect.
Right.
He goes, I know just we're going to sing a lot. And I said, yeah. I said, I just saw you guys last December or November in Rupp Arena. And literally, they might talk 4 times. And he starts laughing. He goes, I know. He goes, Don Henley told us everybody's paying a lot of money to watch us sing. Nobody wants to hear us talk. He goes, at my shows, he goes, I like to laugh and cut up and stuff. He goes, not here. He's like, not with the Eagles. And so when we go to the Sphere and we see them, Don Henley welcomed everybody at some point in the show. They made introductions really quick, and he might have talked I think they only talked 4 times in almost 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? We got our money's worth tonight. Thank you.
Sure.
If you leave a concert, like you're there kind of to be entertained at some point. So maybe Absolutely. That's why we missed that talking. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you're talking can't be entertaining.
Oh, then don't talk.
No.
Don't talk.
No.
Like if you're not good at talking, don't talk.
Just sing.
Just
sing. Okay, so yeah, you've mentioned a bunch of names that I was gonna bring up. So the Mark thing, how is that?
Man, he's like a hero of mine. Like, and I told him that. I said, dude, you don't understand. The first time I ever saw him was at UD Arena in Dayton with the vocal band, and it was crazy because I never saw anybody be that funny.
Right.
I mean, he was like crushing it. Like, right. I mean, so funny. And I was just reciting all of his lines to him, and he goes, oh my gosh, I said, dude, I'm telling you, you changed the game. You made me realize that it was okay to be really funny doing this.
Which you are. What has that always just been a part of your personality?
I've always been pretty funny. My uncle, my mom's brother, was super funny. And so I just always adored him, and we were always funny. My cousin Travis is his son. We're just a funny family. Like we're loud, and we're very just. My grandma was funny. We're just like that. So we're just a very loud, cutting up family. Yeah, I've always been like that. Man, pretty much.
When we get to do a session together, I know what I'm getting on the plane, and that's the first reason I'm calling. But I know too, literally, my sides will hurt when I walk out of the studio that day. And
you're paying for the jokes. The music is free.
Yeah, absolutely. I can overdub the tracks later if I need.
That's right. Just play whatever you want. Nobody cares.
I just need.
Nobody cares.
I need
to laugh.
So
well, that's what you told me at CNS this time. Right. You said, "Hey, man, last night was kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Was kind of spiritual.
Yeah.
Probably." You literally told me back in my practice room, you said, we need to laugh tonight. Yeah. And I was like, okay, no pressure.
So, I literally have a sermon I preach on this. And you are the perfect example of this. God has made some people to be thermometers. They can walk in a room and take the temperature of the room. Then he's made some people to be thermostats, meaning they can change the temperature of the room. Yeah. You have both giftings. And man, how powerful that can be. So that's why I came in the room that night and said that. Because honestly, I don't want to get super spiritual here. I felt like God said, that's why Roy is going tonight, because of what happened last night. And yeah, man, the last thing that I want to do through CNS is carbon copy, Xerox, copy, paste. Man, I just need God to do what God wants to do.
Sure.
The coolest thing for me this year, we had a great school. You know that, you were there.
Oh yeah.
But we get feedback every year, but the volume of feedback this year and the feedback has been this, man, we got what we needed musically, but what God spoke into my life during the week.
That's awesome.
And Tim Owens recently, we were talking. He said, "You know what, Robbie?" He said, "CNS is basically a discipleship program that just so happens to teach music."
Mm,
And
that's true.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, that's huge. That's big because at the end of the day, when because we kind of keep coming back just to be ready, be ready, be ready. I know for me, I think some of my opportunities didn't happen. Maybe musically I was ready, but spiritually I wasn't.
Hmm.
Spiritually, I wasn't. And there are some things we won't get into it here, but there's a conversation I don't think you and I have ever had that we'll have offline sometime. Um, about 3, 4 months into me going on the road, there was an altar service one night at a church, and I felt led to put my bass down and go and pray with someone. And it was a young lady.
Hmm.
There was she wasn't cute, so I wasn't going down for that. I mean, I'm like I'm supposed to put my bass down and go pray for this girl. But let me just put it this way. I did not necessarily go and pray for young ladies after this particular night.
Yeah,
So
okay.
the situation got me down there and made me, and God pointed out that, a simple, hey, what do you need from God tonight? Just
Yeah.
it went south. It went south quick.
Oh no.
So what God showed me was, yeah, you may have been ready a couple years ago musically, but you weren't spiritually.
Yeah.
So, I think that's the same thing. We've got to be ready to go, and he'll open those doors. Okay, so let's talk CNS here before we
Yeah,
wrap
man.
up. Um, I knew you had come off the road. You were like, I don't know, good grief. You could have ran for mayor of Cincinnati because your real estate stuff took off, and
Yeah.
I mean, you're just this huge guy, and um Jeff Stice, we were talking. I'm like, Jeff, school's growing. If we need to bring in additional piano faculty, who should we bring? And he mentioned three names, and your name was on the list.
Hmm.
So, had no clue that what was going to happen was going to happen when we lost Jeff, but I knew I had to honor that conversation. So, I reached out to you and said, "Hey, man, any interest in coming and teaching at the school?" And you said yes, and you came in, and thank you for that. I mean,
Of course.
thank you for that because you came in and instantly, again, I knew who I was calling, I knew who I was talking to, I knew what CNS would get, and I knew what our students would get. So you came and you did that, and man, you've stuck around. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
of
Thank,
course.
thank you for that. I thought, you know what, I'll reach out to these three people that Jeff talked about, and we'll kind of spitball. We'll throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And
Yeah.
man, you have. So thank you. You being at CNS is a big plus for us. And
Oh man.
I know the students that get to work with you. One of them, like, let's just go this year. I have a young guy here in Georgia that I teach every week, and um, he we met. Let's see, what is today? Saturday. We met Tuesday, and he had finished Goodness of God
Oh yeah.
that you all started working on at the school, and um, he just left so encouraged and motivated. And here's the thing, and I don't know if they listen. I'll apologize in advance, but this was his second year at the school, and they're Catholic,
Okay.
and I almost wanted them to experience the spiritual side of the school as much as I did the musical side.
Yeah.
And but they're unique. He's involved in his worship band at his church. They do all of our worship music at their church.
Oh, cool.
So, man, I believe that he has received on that end, but he is just so encouraged and motivated and just wants to work hard. Um, the kid does everything. He dances, he sings, he acts, he plays
Yeah.
piano. He came into CNS. I loaned him a guitar last year for CNS, and I saw him 3 weeks later, and I'm like, man, did you pick up anything at CNS? And he got the guitar out and just blew my mind.
Wow.
Blew my mind. So, that's just one short example of the influence that you're being. And, teaching, I love teaching because I know for me, when I give, then God replaces and,
That's right.
and gives back. So, um, um, Okay, I'll definitely put you on the spot. What does getting to work with people like that, what does being part of CNS, how does that affect you and what you're doing now currently?
Um, well, it's my way to give back, and it's my way to pour into other people because I I had people pour into me. I'm
Right.
telling you, man, if Jim Profit wouldn't have showed me a few chords,
Right.
I mean, he showed me C, F, and G. He probably doesn't even remember. I've talked to him about it in years past. I'm like, man, Jim, if you wouldn't have showed me a few chords, and I just loved his style of play, and maybe I can be that for somebody. Maybe I can just show them because we all bring something to the table,
Right.
and so um, that's my job when I'm at your school, is just to encourage people and meet them where they're at, and not try to discourage them or not try to put too much on them that they're not going to be able
Yeah.
to learn. But man, I just love the fellowship that we have, and I love to be an encourager and help these students and people just learn more and just learn. And some people show up and they don't know what they want to learn.
Right.
They have no clue.
Right.
And some people show up and they're nervous to play in front of me, and some people are not, and some people are like, here's what I got, here's what I can do, and I'll be like, okay, you want to change that?
Right.
Maybe we can make it sound like this. And they're like, oh yeah, let's try that. So I just love giving back and being part of that family and being able to contribute. And just if somebody can just take a couple things away from that and work on them and come back and show me the next year what they have and how they've grown in it, um, that that fires me up and makes me want to do it even more. It's not about money or anything like that. It's the bigger reward is the look on somebody's face when they pick something out, or they learn a new chord, or they hear something a different way, and they realize in themselves that I can do this.
Right.
Like, I can do this.
Right.
Like, it's not as hard as I thought it was. So that to me is the reward. Just watching them. And now that I've been there a few times, watching these students grow year after
Yeah.
year, it's pretty cool to watch.
The development is,
Oh, it's cool.
that's always been, they haven't been for a couple years, but I think the pageants out of Miamisburg, the
Yeah.
father and son.
Yeah.
Literally, we watched Brandon sing all four parts
I mean,
over his life.
and the thing is, Robbie, to your credit, you've established you got a really good staff there. I mean, there's a good staff there. I mean, for singers, and I mean, the performance training, I know I joked about it, but working with Allison,
Yeah.
like, she will make you better. You don't have a choice. It's either
Absolutely.
get better or die.
So,
You know,
yeah. Well,
no choice. I mean, working with Tara, Marianne, Tim, just all those people, we all have the same kind of mentality. We're just pouring into these people
yeah.
for a week. And giving
the
them everything we got.
the thing for me, and I think it's probably what truly drives me. Um, I, I look at like a Landon Ferris, and I see myself at 16.
Oh man.
I see myself scoping and hoping, wanting to do
Yes.
this. And so, as much as I remember chasing it, it's kind of fun now for me to help other people
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
Know?
Absolutely.
And that is by it's almost the Bill Gaither effect.
It is.
Just surrounding CNS with the talent that we've, like you mentioned, the staff. It's really, really important to me. You know a name. I haven't publicly mentioned it yet, so I'm not going to say it, but someone we're bringing in on the piano staff this year. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Some other guests that I've already secured for CNS 26.
Yeah. It'll be good.
We bring them in to do what you're saying, to influence students. All right, man, I've kept you long enough. Thank you.
No worries,
Thank you for taking time today. And I tell them this, my dad for all those years. So this podcast was a birthday gift to my dad on what would have been his 80th birthday.
Wow.
When we launched this thing. So it was easy to call it what we do, because every day at the school, when he would end with devotions, he'd be like, "Hey, you would think yesterday was great. Well, you know." So I kind of wrap these up each week saying, man, Roy spoke a lot today. He said a lot of things. There's little nuggets and Easter eggs in this thing. If you listen back, if they didn't hit you the first time. So if you'll take some of the things that he said today and apply it to your life, your music, and your ministry, it will make today be your best day yet. Man, Roy, thanks so much.
No problem.
All right, we'll
Thank
see
you.
Bye.
Sorry, buddy. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the name the Charles Novell School of Music. And for more information on CNS and our upcoming events, like our online school, our weekend regional sessions, our creative coaching, and our pastor's retreat, you can visit us at our website at www.cnsmusic.com. As you've listened to this episode, we hope that you've gained some information that you can apply to your music and to your ministry to make today the best day yet.